about some things that have been announced. Whether it might be good or bad, we'll see. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so we are back with the second segment, still into Comic-Con stuff, and we're here to talk about the most exciting thing that came out of San Diego Comic-Con. Like, there's nothing, there's no news, no trailers, nothing that came out at San Diego Comic-Con was more important than the Lego set.
Yes, the Lego set.
And I posted this on the social media. I had to post it twice because the first one wasn't right. But
My fault.
yeah, it's all right. but yeah, we got a new lineup for Phase 4, and quite a few, as you see here. If you're listening and can't see it, but still, like, we're got the lineup for Phase 4, and we have a lot of Disney Plus specials here. We got Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to Disney Plus, WandaVision, Hawkeye, Loki, and the What If series will be going to Disney Plus. And there were a few other announcements here, some stuff that does not have an official release date as of yet. One of those was the new Blade that'll be coming out. And Blade will be played by Mahershala Ali. You may recognize him from Alita Battle Angel, Green Book, or more, specifically in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Before they declare that none of these are going to be canon anymore, Cottonmouth from the Luke Cage TV show, which awesome villain, awesome villain. Died too soon, unfortunately. Spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, but it's on Netflix. You should have seen it by now. But yeah, Mahershala Ali has been cast as Blade. No release date yet, but I'm a little bit curious about this one because, like, this is the MCU, which is owned by Disney. Can they do a Blade movie correctly?
Like I said earlier, I'm going to watch it, but I already got my bags packed for the house.
I'm a little on the fences about this one because, there's no secret. Wesley Snipes made the first 3 Blade movies. He made Blade iconic, and like a lot of people didn't know who Blade was. Blade was not a household Marvel name. Your household Marvel names are Spider-Man, Captain America, Wolverine, just X-Men in general.
Yeah.
Like, those are your household names. Blade wasn't really that well known. So for them to, which was awesome, to come out with this character that no one really knows and kind of take their own kind of spin on it and give us something that was pretty awesome. But it was also, thing is I have to remember is Blade was rated R.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things it might need to be. And this is the thing, like I was saying about Wolverine, one of the many issues with the first 2 Wolverine movies, but especially the first one, specifically the first one. But one of the many issues was Wolverine movies need to be rated R. You can have them PG-13 with the X-Men, that's fine. But Wolverine movies, rated R.
Yes.
You don't hold back with those movies,
Yes, we want to see, when Wolverine gets up in there, we want to see everything rip apart.
Yeah, there's a reason, they are uncomfortably violent. That's Logan captured that perfectly. And whereas this one's not as uncomfortably violent, it's still pretty violent. You are dealing with vampires and a lot of blood. So it's
And not trying to take away from Blade, but I think that's the issue that they're facing with, the character Deadpool right now for Deadpool 3, that they're, it's still up in the air. It's are they going to do a Deadpool 3? Are they just going to have him have a crossover? Can they do the character? Because that's what you face with these characters. Like you said, Logan, Blade, and Deadpool, they're all, they're gory. They're foul mouth, and they just have that I don't care attitude.
Right.
So is Disney really prepared to go over that threshold? Because as growing up, Disney was princesses and princess and focused towards kids. Are they going to give us not only kids but stuff for us adults?
Yes, and that was the thing. Like, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people were upset with the cancellation and decanonizing of the Netflix series, is because like they were made they weren't made for kids. Those were made for adults. So it's like it's almost like, man, you lost your platform to be able to do this. You know, it's just like, okay, you're taking all your shows off Netflix. You know, you're focusing more on the Disney Plus. I understand. You know, it's your streaming service. You don't want competition. Obviously, I get that. I understand. It's just, you know, I don't know. that's kind of a stretch for you. And if it's like, if you're gonna do it, are you gonna water him down so much that it's not Blade? You know, that's one of my main concerns of like, he's just gonna be so. He's not gonna be as identifiable, you know, as Blade. You know, just like it's like, you know, it's not as violent, but like it's like Punisher. It's like, if you do the Punisher again, are you going to water him down? You know, because like it's. I know they own Fox. And I know they can probably route some stuff through Fox, but the fact of the matter is like they still own Fox.
Yeah.
You know, Disney didn't own Netflix, so it's like, you know, Netflix can kind of was like, look,
I give them 3 years.
Yeah, you know, it's like that was like, hey, look, we doing what we gonna do. You can be mad if you want to, but like, you know, we're going in hard on these. So it's like, you know, I'm a little bit apprehensive. What do you think, Hakeem?
I really don't know. I really do not know. If they need to have some type of vision before they, you know, start, you know, making this, you know, the movie. They need to have some type of vision, some type of direction on how they're going to play out this Blade, and hope for the best.
Yeah. I want to be excited about it because Mahershala Ali is a great actor. It's just, it's going to rely on more than just him, you know. And is it going to be, you know, like, we all know the Marvel humor, you know, the MCU humor, rather. We all know the MCU humor. You can't silly this up. You just can't. There are certain things you should not silly up. And it's just like,
just take a look at Blade 3 Blade Trinity when they tried doing that.
Perfect example. You can't silly that up. You know, it's like, Blade, but he doesn't belong in that movie. you know, it's just like, all right, look, you want to have Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel out there doing a little satirical vampire adventure type thing. Fine, you know, go do that. You know, but leave Blade out of that.
Yeah.
You don't need to be in that kind of adventure. You know, so a little concerned about that one. I would like to say I trust them, but let's be real. MCU's been kind of lazy. They've put out some hits. Some stuff is just lazy though. So I'm just like, what are you going to do with this character? It's great that you announced them. It's just like, but what are you going to do with them? Got another announcement that came out. We have Thor. Thor's going to be in a new movie. I'm looking for the title right now. I think it was Love and Thunder. Yes. Yeah. Thor, Love and Thunder. And we are going to get the introduction of none other than the female Thor, which will be played by, what's her name?
Natalie Portman.
Yeah. The actress named Natalie Portman. What's her, Jane Foster.
Yeah.
Jane Foster Thor. I don't really know what to say about that little announcement. It's just kind of like, was anyone asking for Jane Foster Thor?
Not really. But I will say, I am interested to see how they're going to play it, because the comic for Jane Foster, the Mighty Thor, who is it? Jason Aaron and Russell Dauterman. They play a part in this comic, and I like Jason Aaron's art style. It's very, I don't know what's the word for it, but I just like the art style for it and the storyline in each of the comics. And for this one in particular, because they're saying for Thor, Love and Thunder, that they're pulling from, the Mighty Thor comic of Jane Foster.
Okay.
And I was like, so how are they going to play this out? Because in the comics, Jane Foster, she figured out that she had cancer.
Right.
And the Mjolnir comes to her aid, and whenever she transforms to the Mighty Thor, the cancer, it also progresses, it progresses in stages. And at this time, Thor, he felt himself unworthy, which is why he no longer had Mjolnir. He left it on the moon after, the Avengers battle with Thor and all of that. So all of like everything that was happening during that time and after was, was like awesome in this comic. So I'm like, where are they gonna, exactly go with this? Like, I'm very interested to see.
Yeah, because I mean, let's be real, like, what role has Natalie Portman or either Jane Foster really played in the MCU? Like, her importance was probably the most in the second Thor movie.
Because she had the
ether.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of happenstance. It wasn't, it could have been anybody in that particular situation. So it was kind of like, okay, what do you I understand, like, okay, keep it in the universe and everything, but it's just like, what have you done to endear us to this character? Because, like, hey, I like Thor just fine, I'm not a fan of where they've gone recently, because
Ragnarok.
and
say something?
and it's going to be the same director, so you're going to get that same feel. You're going to get that same tone.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the whole comical, over comical, and
you're probably going to get like romantic.
Or something. It's like, okay, where do you go with this storyline? And is it going to be one of those things like where it's kind of a wasted storyline, like Planet Hulk? Like, Planet Hulk was wasted. It was a wasted storyline that probably did not need to be in that movie. But it was one of those things like, you got people excited because you saw, like, Planet Hulk. You saw, like, World War Hulk, rather. You saw him in his full armor and everything. You're like, oh, they're going to do a Planet Hulk storyline. No, they're not.
Yeah, because I remember when the trailers for it was coming out, there was a student back at Task. He was all excited about it. He was like, yeah, we're going to get, Planet Hulk, whatever. And I was just like,
yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. I said the same thing. I was just like, "Oh, Planet Hulk, finally!"
Yeah.
And then when I started piecing things together, I'm like, "It's not gonna be Planet Hulk. What are they doing?"
Yeah. So it's just, it's a little weird, and they might just, like, as dark as that storyline actually seems, I don't see them doing that for a comic. If they do, it's going to be kind of messed up, but at the same time, like, hey, they had the end of a world, and that was a comedy where thousands of Asgardians died, but it was all fun.
Yeah,
all
which is what I'm hoping. Like, if they I'm hoping they don't, incorporate, Jane Foster, Natalie Portman, Jane Foster having cancer. Like, I hope they don't put that in there, because if it's the same director, I don't want them, try to make light of her situation. I'm like,
yeah, I don't see them doing that. They did they really made light of Thor's depression, which wasn't cool, but that was an Endgame, different writers, different directors, but just like, that definitely wasn't cool. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I hope they don't. I agree with you, and I hope they don't, but I wouldn't put it past them. But I hope they don't. But then again, this is, again, I do have to remind myself, like, this is Disney. I don't think they necessarily have the balls to make fun of cancer in that way, so they probably won't incorporate that. I just can't I can't help but just remember, like, if only there was, like, a powerful female character in the Asgardian storyline that maybe might have some kind of interesting story to tell, like, especially since she kind of disappeared in Thor Ragnarok. It's like, okay, where the hell has she been and stuff? And I'm talking about Lady Sif, if you're Sif, not Sith, Lady Sif, if you're listening, but just, you have somebody there to to tell, you have a story to tell. Like you have a character that people are actually interested in, who had intrigue. There was like even the hint of like the love triangle and stuff with her and Jane Foster. Like even though like she respected Thor enough to kind of like back off, you could tell she was not happy. She was like, it should be you and me, but you know what? Do your thing. I'm just going to say here, kind of like what was it? Like Wonder Woman with Lois Lane.
Yeah.
It's like Wonder Woman loves Clark, but she's like, yeah, you love Lois Lane, do your thing, dude. I'm just gonna be right here when it doesn't work out. Last thing I wanted to talk about, real quick, and that the thing that I'm actually the most excited for is Marvel's What If series. So. If you're unfamiliar with the Marvel What If series, they have been comics for many, many, many years. I've owned a couple of them, owned as in past tense, yes, unfortunately. Cry a small tear for me. But these comics have been some of the most interesting ones that I have read because they can take any... they could take any form. They could take the form of just like some hokey, goofy type, series, like one-off series or whatever. It could take the form of, like an Outer Limits / Twilight Zone type episode or whatever. It could take the form of like something that can actually be really scary, something horrific, and it's not the first time like it's been explored. Obviously, you have like you have Elseworlds and DC and stuff like that. You have Earth X, as you've probably seen on the CW. It's not the first time stuff like that has been done. You've probably if you follow Ultimate Spider-Man, you've seen the time that Spider-Man and Wolverine switched bodies, but apparently I don't know how canon that is. I do know Brian Michael Bendis probably did not enjoy writing that just because there was like little blurbs in the middle of it where he's got the publisher or somebody in his headlock. He was like, if you don't like this, blame this guy. But it has the intrigue to be almost anything you can do. You could do so much with it. Like you could do anything with it. Like I've seen some of the titles that have popped up here. Like what if Uncle Ben lived? What if Daredevil joined? What if Daredevil joined Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? What if Captain America were revived today? Which is not really that topical because...
I mean, they kind of did that in the movie.
So. Yeah, exactly. So,
It was just like, okay, we have Tony Stark. Who else do we need? Well, there's a dude frozen in ice. I mean, it's only like 2000 and something.
Mm-hmm. Like what if Loki had found the hammer of Thor instead? What if he wielded Mjolnir instead of Thor? You think of like the how scary that can actually be. With
the one that gets me is what if Wolverine had killed the Hulk? Like that would be one that I would love to see.
Yes. There's also one that what if Peter Parker? This is the one that I loved. I wish I still had it. What if Peter Parker wasn't Spider-Man? And actually, what happened is Flash in that particular episode, in that particular series or series of comics, Flash Thompson had become Spider-Man.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So just like now, granted, this Flash Thompson is not the same Flash Thompson as in is in the comics. The one we're used to, the big bully type person, and no, this one is it's more of a self-absorbed kind of trollish kind of person. Not saying he's a troll. I'm calling him troll like a troll. I'm like, but he's a troll, like an internet troll. Basically, it's kind of he gives you a hard time. He's not really a bully per se. So. But in terms of like the What If series, that was one of the best ones. Like Peter was still trying to be part of that whole thing, but you see how quickly that what if that power got into the wrong hands, and you see how quickly that turns and how bad it can get. And so it was like they could do some really, really good stuff with this. And like I said, none of it has to be canon because it's a what if. Yeah. So it's like take your pick of what you want to do. You know, like I said, you can do like silly ones. You can do like, I don't think I would like it very much, but I mean, you could do like, you know, what if Wolverine and Spider-Man switched bodies? In the comics, it was really awkward and weird, but I had funny moments. You know, when Peter cut off Wolverine's finger, that was, you know, like, as Wolverine, it was funny. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny, you know, because he's like, he doesn't know how to handle the body and everything like that. And I was like, okay, I understand. It was funny, but like certain ones, like, I'll put it to you like this: the comic ends this way because, you know, Peter and Logan switch bodies. The comic ends. If you don't want to hear the ending, you know, just mute the audio for a second. But the comic ends like this: Mary Jane comes up to Peter. Have you read this? You ever read this at all?
I want to say briefly.
So,
but it's been a while.
Yeah, you haven't read this, right?
I haven't.
So Mary Jane comes up to Peter, and you know, like everything's back to normal now. Ish. You know, everything's back to normal, and Mary Jane comes up to Peter, like actual Peter. And, you know, it's like, oh, I had such a good time hanging out with you, you know, the other night or whatever. And then she says, like, whispers in her ear, she's like, but I think we shouldn't do, like, certain things. Like, we shouldn't do that, you know, those things that we did. I think we should wait till we were adults. And I'm like, these are kids. Like, these are like 15, 14-year-olds. And I'm like, this is, I'm like, I hate you. Like, my skin is crawling right now. Yeah. Like, so that's how it ends. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it gets disturbing and kind of and really awkward at times. So I'm like,
wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, Logan, you mother.
Now they could probably have a lot more fun if this is one of the things, like, kind of wish Hugh Jackman was still doing it, because they could probably have a lot more fun and do it not as messed up as that was, but they could probably have a lot more fun with that. Like, they wanted to do an episode like that, you know, something just silly, just really out there or whatever. So that's the series I'm most excited for, because I'm like, I'm all for anything new, anything different, anything like that's just like, you know, left up to somebody's complete imagination, and they don't have to follow a comic, they don't have to follow anything. It's just like, man, I got this. What if this happened? Boom, here we go. You know, it's just like you were saying. Have you seen Super Broly yet?
I have not. I'm waiting.
Well, I can't even say that. So never mind. Yeah, we gotta get you to see a Super Broly. We gotta get you to see a Super Broly. So, but yeah,
Fantastic Four has never been.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if, you know, take a particular hero or something? What if Captain America was with Hydra? You know, stuff like that.
What if
you know?
the Punisher's family never got killed?
There you go.
What if Daredevil never became blind?
Does he still become Daredevil? Does somebody else become Daredevil? You know, so it's just stuff like that.
What if the roles were reversed? The Avengers and the X-Men were all villains, and the villains in those timelines are all heroes.
Yep, exactly. I was saying, you could do like
or what if we're really the heroes and they're doing the podcast? Mind blown.
Exactly.